Did you know? Elon Musk was not born poor, but he was not born rich either. He grew up in a stable, middle-class family in South Africa with access to education and early technology. As a child, he taught himself computer programming and sold his first video game at just 12 years old. At 17, he moved to North America to study, living frugally as a student while building skills, not chasing comfort. His real financial risk came later. After selling PayPal, he invested nearly all his money into Tesla and SpaceX, companies that were close to failure at the time. Here's the part most people miss. Comfort didn't make him wealthy. Risk did. If you're waiting to feel ready, you're already behind. Did you know? Mark Zuckerberg was not born rich, but he grew up with strong educational support. He was raised in a middle-class family in the United States. His father was a dentist, and his mother was a psychiatrist. As a teenager, Mark showed an early talent for computers and programming, even building software for his father's office. He attended Harvard University, where he created Facebook from his dorm room, not as a get-rich-quick plan, but as a simple social networking project. As Facebook grew, Zuckerberg dropped out to focus on scaling the platform, facing legal battles, criticism, and intense pressure along the way. His wealth didn't come from luck. It came from skills, focus, and building something people actually use. What if I told you one decision you make this year could change your financial future forever? Jeff Bezos left a high-paying Wall Street job to sell books from a garage, betting on something most people ignored: the early internet. For years, Amazon barely made a profit, and critics said the idea would fail, but Bezos wasn't chasing fast money. He played the long game, reinvesting everything into growth while others wanted quick returns. That patience turned a small online bookstore into one of the most powerful companies in the world. It's 2026, and the same opportunity still exists for people willing to think long-term and act early. What if I told you Bill Gates dropped out and still built a trillion-dollar company? Bill Gates grew up in a middle-class family, but he showed an unusual obsession with computers at a very young age. As a teenager, he spent countless hours learning how software worked, while most people his age were sleeping. He enrolled at Harvard, but when he saw the opportunity to build software for the future of personal computers, he made a risky decision. He dropped out. Together with Paul Allen, he built Microsoft, focusing on one simple idea: software would run the world. That decision turned Microsoft into one of the most powerful companies ever, and Bill Gates into one of the richest men in history. It's 2026, and the real lesson isn't dropping out. It's recognizing opportunity early and acting decisively. You'll never know Apple fired its founder. Steve Jobs wasn't born wealthy. He was adopted, raised in a modest home, and dropped out of college. But he had an obsession with creativity and technology. He co-founded Apple in his parents' garage and helped turn it into a fast-growing tech company. Then in 1985, Apple removed him from the very company he built. Most people would have quit. Instead, Steve Jobs rebuilt himself. He founded Next, turned Pixar into a global success, and learned how to lead differently. When Apple was failing years later, they brought him back. Steve Jobs returned and created the iPhone, iPod, and Mac, transforming Apple into one of the most valuable companies in the world. Sometimes, losing everything is how greatness begins. Most kids play football. Ronaldo turned it into millions. Want to know how? Ronaldo grew up poor in Madeira, sharing a tiny room with his siblings. No luxury, no shortcuts, only a dream and relentless determination. While other kids played, he trained. While others wasted money, he focused on growth. Discipline on and off the field made him unstoppable. That same mindset, small daily choices, long-term focus, thinking like a champion, is exactly what this $20 wealth book teaches. It shows how to turn discipline into financial success. If you want to think like Ronaldo, the link is in the description. Learn the habits, adopt the mindset, and start building your own path to wealth. If you know Oprah Winfrey, you should know she was fired before becoming a billionaire. She was born into deep poverty and raised with very little. Life didn't start easy for her, and the odds were stacked against her from the beginning. Early in her career, Oprah was fired from her first television job. Executives said she was too emotional and not suitable for TV. For most people, that would have been the end. But Oprah didn't see emotion as a weakness. She saw it as her strength. She learned how to connect with people, tell real stories, and speak from the heart. That same quality helped her build the Oprah Winfrey Show into one of the most influential platforms in television history, and later a billion-dollar media empire. The lesson? Sometimes rejection isn't stopping you. It's redirecting you. If you know Warren Buffett, you should know this. He still lives in the same house he bought decades ago. Despite being one of the richest people in the world, he never chased luxury or flashy lifestyles. As a child, Buffett delivered newspapers and made his first stock investment at just 11 years old. He learned early that money grows with patience. While others chased quick profits, Warren Buffett focused on one simple rule: buy strong businesses and hold them long-term. That mindset turned small investments into billions. Today, he's admired not just for his wealth, but for his discipline, humility, and consistency. The lesson? Wealth isn't built fast. It's built over time. If you use Google today, you should know who built it. Larry Page and Sergey Brin were PhD students at Stanford, obsessing over one question: how can we organize all the world's information? In 1998, they started a small project in a garage, building a search engine that ranked pages by relevance, not just keywords. Most people would have thought it was impossible, but Page and Brin didn't stop. They refined their algorithm, worked tirelessly, and convinced investors to believe in their vision. Today, Google isn't just a search engine, it's the backbone of the internet. And both Page and Brin are among the richest people on the planet. Their billions tied to the company they dreamed up in a tiny garage. The lesson? Big ideas plus relentless focus equals world-changing wealth. Let's talk about Rihanna. Music made her famous. Business made her a billionaire. Rihanna was born in Barbados, not into wealth, but into hardship. Her childhood was marked by family struggles and instability, and life didn't offer her a soft start. Music became her escape. At just 16, she left her home country for the United States with nothing but talent and ambition. Her music career exploded, making her a global superstar. But Rihanna didn't stop at fame. While many artists focused only on hits, she focused on ownership. She co-founded Fenty Beauty and Savage X Fenty, building brands that disrupted entire industries with inclusion and smart business strategy. That decision turned fame into fortune. Today, Rihanna is one of the few self-made female billionaires in the world. The lesson? Fame fades, ownership builds wealth. What about Michael Jordan? He was once cut from his high school basketball team. That rejection could have ended his dream. Instead, it fueled his discipline. Jordan trained harder than everyone else, eventually becoming one of the greatest athletes in history. Basketball made him famous, but it didn't make him a billionaire. The real wealth came from ownership. His partnership with Nike created the Air Jordan brand, a business that still earns billions every year, long after he stopped playing. Michael Jordan turned skill into brand and brand into legacy. The lesson? Talent opens doors, ownership builds wealth. Follow Mrs. Wealth for real billionaire stories.